Today is a replay of an incredible interview. Now, this comes back from July 2024. And back then, the rate they got was 6.75, and they were stoked about that. Here at the end of 2025, with the right lender, you can end up getting rates in the fives. So this was someone who managed to do this with a rate way higher than what you're going to get today. This is my boy, DeShawn. He locked into a home, and even with that high interest rate, their payment was $200 less than the rent they were already paying. Learning how to do that, that's already an incredible tip. And there's more in there. But what is really incredible is the lessons that he and his wife learned during their home buying process to get this amazing deal. Wait till you hear about the plans that they have for their future legacy through the valuable education that they learned with the whole home buying process. Yeah, they're not done. They're getting ready to do this again so they can have multiple properties and live an extremely comfortable life. And today, I also want to tease an amazing interview that's coming up on Friday. It's going to be episode 399. It's an interview I just did with Nick, who's a new homeowner. Originally reached out to me in October of 2024, only had $1,500 saved. 9 months later, they had an accepted offer on a 4-bedroom home. And that story has amazing tactics and strategies that you can use on your planning journey. They strategically ended up with a payment that was higher than their rent, but they understood everything that the home could be. It was a forced savings account, not to mention it gave them multiple different quality of life things that they were looking for. And because they prepared for that payment and practiced it well before they signed on the dotted line, they'd gone over all the numbers. They understood the positive impact that this would have on their family. After the interview, after we turned off the mics and stopped recording, here's what you're not going to hear on the podcast. Nick told me that when they first went into that empty 4-bedroom home with the kids, each of them figured out that they were getting their own room, and he could not believe the smiles on their faces. They were all so happy. They actually went and got takeout, and they sat on the floor of the empty living room. Nick said they sat crisscross applesauce because they were all just so excited to be there. In fact, Nick told me that he was so pumped up about the gigantic yard they got with the home that he walked outside and he just laid down in the middle of the grass. The reason why I'm teasing this one is because, well, there's tons of great little tips for you within that interview, and I'm really excited and want to make sure you guys listen to it. But also, they too, only a month owning a home, are already working a strategy. They're going to use his partner's credit to buy their next home so they can set themselves up financially for life. I seriously can't wait for you to hear this one. Buying your home with a rent replacement strategy as soon as you can. The reason why it's so important and why you may even consider something that is far more expensive than your rent is because this gives you the tools and the options to set up your legacy once you know the math and once you understand the numbers. And going through the process is a great way. These are people that never bought a home before, didn't have any advice from anyone else in their family, but after going through the process, they went, wow, we can do this, and we can do this again. Get ready for that interview coming on Friday, episode 399. And for today, enjoy the OG legacy creator, DeShawn. There's valuable knowledge nuggets in this one. Enjoy.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time homebuyers.
Coming from pretty much nothing, leaving home when I was 15, I was homeless for a stretch of time. Everything I have blood, sweat, and tears in. We're just blazing the trail on obtaining a home and doing this thing. It's sitting in the living room of my brand new home to us is just, it still hasn't set completely yet.
I'm very excited right now. This is DeShawn and Katrina just closed on a home. We did an interview about a week ago and we had technical issues, but we're here now. DeShawn, say hello to the homies, and you just moved in. Start us with your biggest, best tip for everybody. Go.
Hey guys, round 2 here. My biggest tip for everybody is just trust the process. Credit score is huge. And you really lean into your unicorn team, amazing things will happen.
Can you tell the guy's done this twice now? He did that in a perfect soundbite. one of the things that I like to reiterate to everyone, he said credit score, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Here's the thing about credit scores. They take time to build. Okay, DeShawn, tell everyone where you and Katrina bought the house. Where are you? How much did the house cost you? What did you put down? All that good stuff so people understand what they can do.
Absolutely. We actually thought we had ideas and plans to purchase in a capital city of California. We were from Sacramento, and we are probably a hairline away from desperate when we got a pre-approval amount to find a place just because the prices were just so astronomically high. So it was important that we found something that checked off a lot of our boxes, but was sort of close until my wife hit me from left field with an idea for closer to Chico area. We're like 30 minutes from Chico. And we bought a house. We put an offer down beginning of last month, right in at 206.
You're laughing because that's a tip from the podcast to do
Exactly.
Do a
Yes.
weird number.
Pick a weird number. Pick a weird number, guys. It just works. It just works. We're going digging through 2019 for tips and tricks, and guys say the word.
It has a reason. Your average other person who overbids is going to do 205. Who knows? Maybe $1,000 more, the seller will go, well, this guy really cares. Never know.
Right. Exactly. And we, in less than 24 hours, our offer was accepted. And my wife and I looked at each other and was like, the downhill descent begins, like into homeownership. Here we go. We also got a negotiation with a seller's credit, which is another old school tip for you homies out there that are listening. And our seller's credit plus a second mortgage, which was our down payment assistance, put us with closing costs less than $5,000.
$5,000 all in because you got a down payment assistance grant. What are you renting for right now?
So we had a family combined situation in our current home in the Sacramento area. We were renting for our portion was a little over $1,700 to $1,900, but total, because of emergency purposes, happened that we had to take over the whole rental cost of $3,000 plus utilities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So $1,900 or $3,000 during these emergency times.
Yes.
What's your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance total payment on this $206,000 home?
Our total cost is $16,800.
Let's split it down the middle. $1,800 a month rent, sharing with another family, or $5,000 down payment, all in, closing costs, everything, and you pay $200 less a month. Amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah, we scored.
So what happened? Did you get some crazy low interest rate, or was that at a regular old interest rate?
So we actually got in locked in at a 6.75 interest rate, which honestly, again, guys, as a homie doing my homework, that's not bad. That's great, especially hearing how even when before we got locked in, it was higher, and we dropped. So.
And you can get a float sometimes, which is sometimes if you lock in and the rates take a dramatic drop, make sure your lender gives you a loan product that will do a move one time during your period. That's a really important fact. The most important fact I forgot, that because we talked about it right at the beginning of the last episode, you used the people that I nicknamed unicorns, but tell everyone during the planning process. Let's go all the way back to the planning. When did you start listening to the podcast, and when did I get my nickname?
Oof. I started listening to the podcast around beginning of the year, closer to April, and I reached out to you, and you were actually at a convention, and I was totally shocked that you reached back out to me. I called and you texted back, and I was like, whoa, this guy's real. Like, and he told me where he's at. Like, I told it, I'm in. And our story as far as finding unicorns was really fun because, again, we tried it. We tried, guys, trying to find something in Sacramento, and it just didn't work out. But our unicorn there, once my wife had suggested where we want to eventually go, closer to the Chico area, That had to change our unicorn realtor. But the way that transition was, it was so professional. It was so classy. It was very unicorn-esque. And the statement I got from that unicorn in Sacramento was, hey, I want to set you up for success. And I'm not from that area, nor do I know that area. But let's reach back out to David and find you a unicorn for that area. And I was just blown away because I recall
Because
when
that means she doesn't get paid at all.
right. And here she goes, bye paycheck. Like, let me introduce you to somebody else. And that's the thing, guys, like unicorns are in it for your win. And when I say that, I mean it. Everything that they do, they walk the talk, they walk it and they talk it, and it's amazing. Like they put you first through every step of the process. Here I am just like blown away when this first unicorn had mentioned that, because I would have already been blown off. Hey, I'll talk to you when you're ready to buy if I went outside of a unicorn team.
The thing that, it's been 5 years of the podcast, but the one thing is every business has people that reciprocate to each other. Your plumber knows a good electrician. It's that kind of ethical. It's called relational business, not transactional. You are a relationship. You, the homies, you're not a number.
Right. I was just going to say in closing to that, with the first unicorn, again, just a sentiment to what he's saying. Like she reached out to us when she found out we got a home and said, congratulations, I'm so excited for you, and just wishing our family the best. And that's just, again, just full circle. It's like, man, when you have a unicorn team, guys, it's good people working with good people to provide a home for good people.
Yeah. And for everyone out there who's like, realtors are slime buckets, yep, you're right. I agree with you. Most of them are, but the unicorns aren't, because God bless you, DeShawn, $1,800 a month is a lot of money. $3,000 a month is a lot of money, but a $200,000 purchase is not going to mean that a realtor can retire. But exactly. You got service like you were $1 million client, even though it was what we call an entry-level home, which means lower paycheck for everybody, Mm-hmm. And then you gave me my nickname. What did you end up calling me? Because we talked about it last time.
Guys, I call David because where I come from, born and raised in Southern California. Anyone who adds value to you but isn't necessarily your blood, you call him Unc. And so Unc Sidoni, I appreciate you, man, giving you all your flowers for everything you do for us homies out there. You are invited to the barbecue, my friend.
Well, I am coming, and you know that. And then
sure.
What's cool is we ended up calling the unicorn lending team, and
they are beasts in the game.
And they gave you a nickname. They called you the real deal.
Yes, they called me the real deal. And honestly, again, guys, this is just because being a homie, reading up on the podcast, listening to as much episodes as they can pertaining to our situation. When you guys really believe in the process, lean into the process, trust it. What David has put out there for us makes us look like rock stars. And this is why my lending team calls me the real deal, because when they sent something out, done. When we're going over our first meeting conversations of, all right, this is going to be our step-by-step process, I'm like, I could have made this list, because of what David has put out there. So let's put this show on the road. So they gave me that nickname, and it's flattering for sure.
It's a double-edged sword here, real deal, because what you've done is you told everybody, listen to the podcast and you'll be super prepared, and that's awesome. On the other hand, you can do both at the same time and reach out to me early. Because like he said, when he reached out to me, we got him someone quick. You don't have to become the real deal before you ask for a unicorn, because during the process, when you're saving money, working on your credit score, getting your debt in place, you can continue listening to the podcast and then talk to your lender once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever. And
for sure.
Yeah, and then you become the real deal, bro.
Yeah, this is not a podcast where you listen to episode 1 and on in numerical order by any means.
No way, dude. I changed it. I changed episode 1 to say, do not binge this podcast. It's just too much. It's just too much. That's why I tell everyone start at season 2. Now, one of the things that was inspirational the last time we talked, tell me a little bit about you and Katrina and your family's history with finances and buying homes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I, grew up in a family that, had made certain choices that made our lifestyle a certain way and not for the best. And I grew up learning the examples of how not to do things. And my wife being a part of a family who had kind of the split, like there were some good financial decisions to maybe some some opportunity there on some other ones. But Katrina and I are first time generation home buyers in our family, and we're just blazing the trail on obtaining a home and doing this thing. It's sitting in the living room of my brand new home to us is just it's still hasn't set completely in.
You are so inspirational, bro, because by using the rent replacement strategy, you would have kept paying 1,800, maybe 3,000 in those months when the family was having some rough times. You would have been paying that out for 2 or 3 years. People ask me, well, what is the deal? How do you make money with a house?
Yeah.
It's so expensive right now. Who wouldn't put $5,000 down to just replace your rent? And now that money goes towards something. And dude, you're a first timer. In 10 years, bro, your home, I can't even do the math on what 4% compounded over 10 years is.
It could be a stressful process. I'm just trying to think about how I was feeling, before I even knew there was a David Sidoni out there and and a unicorn team out there. I would have been bamboozled. I would have been ran over. I would probably still not be in a home. And personally, I was working on my finances. I was trying to, curve that line that I come from and just making better financial decisions. And I'm not talking about I have these shiny, brand new, lavish things. It's more like living within the means and not exceeding that, putting some money away to try and save, and all while doing that, eventually coming across this podcast. It just was the right place at the right time kind of situation because, man, reaching out in April, we didn't know we'd be in a house a couple months later. We didn't know that at all.
What were you doing when you were saving? I had done a couple episodes on that. Give someone who you self-taught yourself how to budget. Go from the very beginning, bro. What'd you do?
Yeah, I found out what was coming in and what was going out. What expenses do I have to identify what is coming in for paychecks or any other assets or anything like that to what's going to bills. And when I found out that I still had a little money at the end of the month, I wasn't doing anything with it. I wasn't even necessarily quote unquote saving it. And I mean, when quote unquote save it, you're assigning it to be saved, right? So here I see, money just kind of building up. I mean, what are we going to do with this? And so we just didn't touch it. And it wasn't a ton of money, guys, that we put towards this home or anything like that. But for me, it was coming from pretty much nothing, leaving home when I was 15. I was homeless for a stretch of time. Everything I have blood, sweat, and tears in. And $5,000 is a lot of freaking money to me, okay? It may not be to others, but that's fine.
Get specific for me. Did you use a pen and paper? Did you use an
We
app?
we went old school. We went old school, pen and paper at first, until we started changing. It's crazy when you budget, guys. You don't realize how deep you get into it. When you're budgeting, that is the beginning steps of your mindset shifting and your mindset stepping in the direction of changing, which is great. Don't be scared of it. Embrace it. And what that also just kind of domino affected in our lives is our atmosphere began to change, and the people who were pouring into us versus what we were allowing to be poured into us versus what we blocked out. Because unfortunately, guys, what happens in society now is you want to get out of debt, you talk to your broke parents. You want to learn how to save, you talk to people who don't save money. And I didn't want to repeat that. And so we just rubbed shoulders with people who were doing it. Like, what are you doing? It's different. And when they broke it down, it was really simple. live if you can under your means, if you can within it, but don't ever exceed it. And it's all about making certain decisions. Like we didn't go out to eat all the time because it just didn't make the most sense. It saved us hundreds of dollars, but before we started budgeting, we realized we were spending hundreds of dollars going out to eat and doing honestly things that didn't really even matter because we can't even remember them anymore, right?
Well,
But
it's no wonder the podcast hit home with you then, because I try so hard to make sure to deliver the positive message. I don't say a lot, but you just break the cycle. That's a huge mission of the podcast that I don't think I've ever said out loud. If you're the first, break the cycle, and your advice of, I always say garbage in, garbage out. And that's why if we're watching the news or really bad reality television in this house, it is known this is a guilty pleasure and you got 20 minutes and then we're done.
yeah, yeah,
But surrounding yourself with the right people will be the thing, or the right information, not just
absolutely. To add to that, guys, homies out there, if you're listening, you're already there. Your mindset is shifting. You already know that there's a goal in front of you that you want to reach. You have no way in hell of knowing how to get there. And here's the tool in front of you. But just know that there are others out there. There's people next to you in your family that you know have gone through the process. There are still a lot of things that you can learn from just having conversations with people who have done it instead of having conversations with people who aren't really going to change your process in a positive way. And that's something my wife and I kind of laughed about going through this buying process because we heard all the nightmares. We're like, oh, my credit score only got me this, so you need a lot of work and just all this hoopla. And then we're kind of looking at each other going, we have a unicorn team and this process has been pretty stress-free for the most part. Honestly, it's been pretty stress-free.
I love it because this interview is like the first time we had so much discovery, and now because it's the second time, the first interview was, I really want the homies to listen. The first part of this was the facts and the figures. Decided that one reason wasn't going to work, went to another. Why was that easy for them and not a drama on Reddit with somebody, bitching and moaning about it? Because they had a unicorn team. Why was this something they could do? Because the unicorn team helped them explore first-time homebuyer grants. These people did not have to save 8% down like I recommend to people for a $200,000 house. That's $16K. They got in with $5,000.
Absolutely.
And $5,000. So, and then the last half of it has been the understanding of the motivation. And I knew that the real deal was going to be as someone who could inspire you guys, but that's incredible, man. And it's a combination of changing your mindset, but then there's something real important, action, because you planned and worked like crazy for this, right, bro?
Absolutely. Blood, sweat, and tears in everything we do. You have to apply what you learn along the way, or you've just wasted all that time and energy of everyone or everything that is poured into you. And I'm not about wasting time and energy because I already feel like I'm starting late in the game because of what I come from. And that's not throwing shade at my family or anything like that necessarily. It's just, it's time to get to work, And so budget, guys, put the money away, but you have to identify what's coming in and what's going out. And if you can live underneath that, then you're already creating a stash away fund, if you will, for whatever's to come. And don't pick a number in particular, guys. The reason why I say that is because you're getting a unicorn team. Reach out as soon as you can. They will help you with the decimals and the figures and all that. But more so, why put a number on your future? You have no idea what this process is going to do for you and how quick it may or may not come. So putting a dollar amount on that is just limiting you, because it could be a lot less or it could be a little bit more, but you're going to learn so many things along the way that actually give each dollar amount a reason and a why behind it. So it all makes sense for you in the end.
Each dollar a why. That is huge. Now, let me expand on what he said because it's so important, because DeShawn has been through this and he understands and he knows. When I see all those naysayers on Reddit and on my comments, they're not hating. They're just regurgitating the information that they've been told. The idea that there are people that want to support you. And if your family doesn't know, they don't know. So you got to go other places. And for the understanding of the being able to use a first-time home buyer grant, being able to get in for that low down payment, having this be less than your rent, and your two kids right now who are in their new home are going to have such a more stable future, and you're going to be able to pass on from generation to generation everything that you learned.
And that is such a rewarding feeling because again, my wife and I were on a mission to curve that line. And for our children, I'm not saying they're not going to have to work hard in life, but they're definitely not going to be wasting time with all the hard work that we've put in for them. So they're going to be launching from a foundation so much stronger than ours. And for that, they're going to be better off because of it. And just reminding ourselves of that when we see them right now running around in the front and backyard of the home that we just bought, it's a beautiful thing for sure.
I love it. Okay, the last thing that I want to ask you about, because we talked about it off air last time, where did the appraisal come in?
So it was just an amazing process, going through the inspection, going through the appraisal, and going to the home with a few grand positive equity.
It appraised for more than the price that you agreed to.
Yes, it appraised for a little under $4,000 more, but still, guys, it's $4,000 that we don't have to put into. So.
Instant equity, which for you,
instant equity.
Yes. So
it's huge.
Yeah.
So and we went like this. My wife and I, we said loose lips sink ships. We're not saying a word to closing.
The appraisal is real estate nerd fact. The appraisal is purchased by the buyer and the buyer's lender. It is
your business.
It is your business, baby. Now, if it appraises low, you better bet your butt your unicorn is going to be shoving that in the seller and the seller's agent's face. But when it appraises high, here's some insider information, everyone. Hey, selling agent reaches out. Hey, did it appraise? Oh yeah, the home praised for value. We're good. That's all you say, and you're good to go. And now that $4,000, it goes towards you eventually getting to 78%. But wait, you didn't have PMI, right? No PMI?
We did have PMI, but the PMI guys, again, remember I said not once, not twice, but 3 times. Credit score. And this is the reason why. When your credit score is spot on, you have so many things that are during the home buying process you don't have to worry about. And when it comes to the PMI, our PMI is $79 because our credit score is awesome.
The cost of PMI changes with your credit score. Even if it was $200 a month, you and Katrina would be paying $100 more than your rent, but you'd be in a house and it will be gone in a few years. You've already got $4,000 worth of equity. All you need to do is get to that 22% point and it'll automatically go away. PMI does not last forever. That's
right. And when this slips off eventually, we already don't feel it, but it's really not going to be felt when that PMI goes away. It's only just a little tiny fraction.
Here's what you do. You watch the market and you plan. And then for the first 6 months that the PMI is gone, you guys have $79 extra. So that's like, one trip to the ice cream store with the whole family per month. This is once again an incredible story. Oh, I will end with one more thing. Off air last time, we talked about your plans for the long-term future, and I planted a seed of an idea in your head for what you're going to do with this first home. Tell the homies about that.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do recall being told almost immediately, give your wife or your spouse time before you create a hardcore budget.
Yep.
Because again, you don't want to lose the fundamentals of this budget. Now that you've achieved your goal, you're still on a budget. You're still in the system. But give my wife some time before we create a budget and let a few years go by, and we could be launching ourselves into a house hacking situation where we go into our next home and this be residual income for us. But I mean, you can also add more specifically some tips and tricks in there, but just planted a seed with this ain't over. This journey is not over, it's just getting started.
In
But to
in a
get the advice that we can financially pivot ourselves to be going in hyperspeed of success because we just bought a home, just blew my mind when he was speaking.
one of the things that I've learned, it's breaking the cycle again. Most people buy a
Hmm.
home and they get super excited about the equity, and then they take all that equity to buy a bigger home with using that huge ton of equity so that they have a super
Hmm.
low down payment for the rest of their life on that second home. If you understand the mathematics of compounding interest and you understand the mathematics that time is how savings accrues in the largest, most gigantic ways, you've already learned how to budget right now. What if you could keep the first home? That's what we talked about.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
I'm like, what if you could
Yep.
keep it? That thing you're paying $1,600 a month for, you're going to be paying, or $1,700 a month for, you're going to be paying $1,600 when you lose the PMI. Uh,
Hmm.
in 10 years, it'll probably be renting for $4,000 a month. So you,
And when you're in the trench of things, the way you brought it up too is I'm 32 this year in August, and that means I'm going to be making more money. That means I'm still going to be working. And when you're in the trenches, you kind of forget about that, and you're like, "Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. $1,600 might not seem like a big deal down down the road."
so many people get so, I mean, so many people go into a rent versus buy like spreadsheet or scenario, and they go, "See, told you, it doesn't make any sense to buy." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, it's $800 more or $1,200 more to own right now. That's for normal people, DeShawn, not you and Katrina. I don't know what the hell you guys do. God bless you." But for most people now, it's more expensive. But then I try to tell them, what about later? And what about the fact that you're throwing money away and that this could be a forced savings account and everything I say in every single podcast? But the idea that we talked about was take the things that you learned now. I told you, I did tell him to chill out and not tell his wife this
Yeah.
idea as soon as we hang up. Get used to the new house, get used to the new expenses, have a trade off between should we remodel here or should we put some money into another savings account? And then 5, 10 years from now, you want to talk about breaking the cycle. Most people who break the cycle, if their families haven't owned before, they buy one home and they trade up, trade up, and trade up, and they have one asset left at 30 years from now. If you can figure
Hmm.
out a way to keep this $200,000 house in 20 or 30 years is going to be worth $800,000. Plus, you're going to be getting
Exactly.
$2, $3, $4,000 a month cash from it. Incredible.
Couldn't have said it any better than that, Unc, because honestly, we're legacy building. And when it comes to building a legacy, you can't just stop once you reach one goal. You got to keep going. So, kind of as we get closer to wrapping up, just those tips for all the homies out there or the people who are really, really not sure of what they're doing or how to do it. Get your credit score in place because you have no idea how it's going to work for you. Quick little fun story. We absorbed a solar loan in this home purchase. It came with solar panels. We didn't have a choice, but because our credit score was amazing, I was worried at first with my lending team. I was like, I'm not supposed to run my credit again. I'm freaking out. And they told me, DeShawn, don't trip, Skip. your your credit score has an amazing buffer. We're going to allow this credit pool, and we absorb this loan for pennies on the dollar that's wrapped into the mortgage payment, so we don't ever have to treat it as like another mouth to put money into. But those are just little successes, guys, that when your credit's in place, it will take care of you. I know when you're not in a home, it feels like the credit score is against you because it's oh, I got to pay this much money on this card and I don't have any money left in my pocket. Well, this is the asset that it takes care of you. When your credit score is on point, it will go full circle for you. And then leaning into your unicorn team, guys, because one, they know everything that they need to know to launch you into a successful strategic perspective in the home buying process, because everything's negotiable, right? Just trust that your unicorn team is going to take care of you. Yes, there's some interview questions you could still do with your unicorn team. Make sure they're the right fit, but 9 times out of 10, guys, they're there for you, and it'll become completely apparent when it's the way they talk, it's the way they run the business. It's you're asking me my opinion on this? Really? Like I thought that was your part. No, They want you to know everything that you need to know to be successful. So don't stress out, guys. Remind yourselves that it's one bite at a time to eat an elephant.
You hit the nails right on the head, because there are all those horror stories you see go away when you start working on your credit score early, and especially if you do that with a unicorn team. Now, it doesn't show up like you said, credit score is always just such a bad thing. You forget that all these good things are happening to you because of the work that you've done and because of the team that you've aligned yourself with well before you started the process.
It is truly just like, oh, that's why I busted my butt off for a low PMI. This is great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I the homies, thank you. I'm sure this is going to be this has turned into now a 3-part. We've got stats and data on how to do it. Then we got the motivational and inspirational middle section, and then we got the what to do in the future at the end. I love it. I'm glad we came back for this, bro.
Guys, you're already doing the work. You're listening to our voices. You're already there. Your compass is aiming in the right direction, and it is possible.
I love it, bro. You're the best. Thank you so much, man. And reach out to me anytime you want to at howtobuyahome.com, and we'll say goodbye to DeShawn now. So long, buddy.
That was awesome. Once again, thanks to DeShawn, and we'll make sure that we put the full episode guide in the show notes. You got that, JT? Drop that in there for everybody, because that's where you can get information on anything that wasn't covered in there, stuff that you have specific questions about, or information you heard about but you want to go deeper. And as always, you can go to howtobuyahome.com. You can ask me a direct question right there. Just click Ask David, or you can ask me for your own unicorn team in your area so you can get started on your home buying journey, creating your last lease ever, setting up your rent replacement strategy, getting action steps and goals along the way. And watch your podcast app for episode 399 dropping on Friday with Nick. It's a dope one. You can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyahome.com to get started.